Hey, really quick before we get started, I wanted to say thank you because this channel had a sudden boost in people watching it and subscribing, and I really appreciate it. We are over 7,000 subscribers, and that's something awesome to me, and I really appreciate you guys joining me along the ride. I know the past several videos we've been covering modern things. Today we're going back to our roots. You know, we're coming up on 5 years of this channel's existence. This started in March of 2020 during the whole COVID situation, and here we are still going. And I figured what better way than go back to our roots. Plus, y'all have heard me talk about this Preston Mess Kit many times, and I'm promoting it, trying to get 500 people up. We're about a quarter of the way there. So if you see something in this video and you think you'd be interested in the Preston Mess Kit and you haven't already signed up, or if you know a friend who would benefit from it, then please check out the link below in the description box. You'll see an interest form. It's not a commitment, but there's also a series of videos, and there's an incredible written article where I researched the Preston Mess Kit, and the history of it by itself is absolutely fascinating. So that alone is worth it. So anyhow, today I'm going to show you how to make flapjacks 1920 style. Now this recipe is pretty basic and it's very hearty. It's from 1921. Now if you're familiar with using pancakes mix from the store where it's like nice and airy and fluffy, that's not what you're going to get with this, but to say the least, you know, it's a really good recipe. I really enjoy it. And because it is so basic, it doesn't require a ton of ingredients, and it doesn't have all the additives to it too. So it's a bit healthier than your off-the-shelf big box store pancake mix. But on the Camp Crafters Guild, this month's challenge is flipping flapjacks. Now my son and I, we spent a good hour and a half making dinner last night flipping flapjacks, and I taught him how to do it. And if you've never flipped a flapjack, I am going to show you some techniques that I use and some tips and tricks to make you a professional flapjack flipper. Now I might be projecting a little bit, but I'd say any camper worth their salt should learn how to flip a flapjack. Not just because this is a traditional camp crafting channel, but because, you know, it's less implements to take along with you, right? And the more we know, the less that we have to carry. So this is the Preston Mess Kit. If you've never seen it before, it is awesome. It is all-inclusive. Comes like this. You have the clamshell. You have one side. This is just the plate. You have the other side. Well, this is the skillet. It's going to be the star of the show today's video. We have our canteen, which carries our water, and we have our cup. Now we're going to use this as our mixing bowl because what's the point of having an all-in-one mess kit if you have to carry a bunch of stuff, right? So now the cup has this little handle that hides inside there. It folds out, so now you got something to hold on to while you're mixing. And if you ever used a mixing bowl, you know that's pretty handy right there, right? And to show you a couple of features about this handy dandy little clamshell, in case you've never watched the other video, it has a little D ring right here, and it connects to the handle of the skillet, and it closes up like so, and you can close it off with this wire. And now you have either a container, so you can put like your bread in there that you've already pre-made, you could put your meat in there, or something else that you just want to keep sealed, dried up, and safe. Or you can use this as a baker. You can use this essentially to bake your bread, and I've done it and it works wonderfully. Now, this is aluminum. The reproduction is going to be stainless steel because a lot of people don't trust aluminum these days, even modern aluminums. People are kind of questioning it. Stainless steel is a little bit more durable, and overall, stainless steel doesn't add, I mean, it does. It adds weight. I'm not, trying to slip you a line or anything, but a stainless steel at this gauge is not going to add a tremendous amount of weight. So that's what the production is going to be. And again, check out the description box below. You can find out all the details about what type of stainless steel and cost and all that jazz. But we need 500 people to subscribe. Now, how this works is there's this little itty bitty wire here. Let me show you on this. All right, you see that little wire right there? So that locks this in place. So you push that through, and then you see the wire right there. So that locks in. So now your skillet's not going to fall down on you. Okay, so we're going to use this. We're going to use our plate to put our flapjacks, and we're going to use our cup here to mix with. We're also going to use my 1980s, 1990s Optimus 8R because we are cooking in my studio today. We want to be able to control the flames and safety. That's why I got the wood down, and always prepare for emergencies, you know. So this I can control the height of the flame a lot easier. I can get it to simmer. I can make it go a little hotter or what have you. So this is just a very safe camp stove to use versus my Primus, which is highly unreliable and not the easiest thing to use. So here, this is what we're going to use. We also have flour. Now, if you've seen this up here, it says tea. I don't drink tea, and that's a lot of tea, so I turn it into my flour canister. So we got my flour canister. We also got some sugar right here. We've got Clabber Girl baking powder, which Clabber Girl's been around for a really long time, so that's fitting for our setting. A little bit of salt and some butter. Now you could use syrup, but and I actually have a recipe in my Camp Crafters cookbook, which if you've never known that I actually published a Camp Crafters cookbook, I did. I'll put that in the description box below. But there's like over 90 historic traditional camp crafting recipes that I like to use when I'm out with my family going camping. But in that recipe book, it actually teaches you how to make syrup. And I'm not talking about maple syrup, but a very passable sugar syrup, which is really good. It's actually really, really good and pretty easy. All right, so first things first, you're going to need 2/3 cup flour. Now, these pancakes aren't going to be super big. You want them to take up the majority of the space of whatever frying pan you use, okay? But you don't want them too big, especially for flipping, because, well, then it can get kind of messy. So work yourself up to like dollar size, silver dollar, not half dollar, but silver dollar size, and go to a little bit bigger. But we're going to fill up about the diameter of our skillet here. So we take out our canister, got our little measuring cup. Let's get 2/3 out. Let's see. This was actually my grandparents, my great-grandparents. So it's pretty cool that I inherited something like this, and I get to use it in front of y'all, but also use it to feed my own family for historic camp crafting. So let me know in the comments below if you've got something like that you guys use from grandparents or what have you for your camping, whether it be modern or traditional camping. It doesn't matter to me, but it's just really cool when you get to, I don't know, experience an adventure with your ancestors in that way. All right, so it needs so we put 2/3, so you need one, and it says not slightly level with the spoon. So you need 2 teaspoons effectively, but just not quite on the second one. So we're going to get rid of just a little bit. There we go. As you can see there, it's not completely full, not completely level. A baking powder. Now I think it says 1/4 it's 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. Now that's pretty salty to me, so I do a little bit less. And I just eyeball, don't use the teaspoon. I use my fork here to mix it all up. Next, we're going to put in our cup here. All right, now, if you've ever made pancakes using a pancake mix, which I'm sure most of you have, you tend to add, depending on the pancake mix, it also depends on the elevation here in the U.S. if you're up in the mountains or something. But anyhow, you're trying to make a batter. It's not, you don't want it to be super sticky. You also don't want it to be too wet. So you got to find a little bit of happy medium in that. I just eyeball it. I never measure it. Once you make pancakes a couple times, you just kind of figure out what works for you. And you can always add flour, but it's a lot harder to take flour out. I'm using my fork, just whipping it up. So what are we looking at for consistency? So something that goes like that, roughly. All right. Your mileage may vary, be a little different than mine. All right, so we got our batter. Now we're going to light our stove here and get it going. And I'll bring you back after this heats up because I want to make sure that nothing explodes and I don't do anything. I got to be careful. You know, we're dealing with fire, so inside my studio. So in a moment, I'll be back. All right, welcome back. We've got our stove on. We're going to take a little bit of butter. It doesn't take that much. You just want enough to coat the bottom of your frying pan, especially if you're flipping, because you don't want a bunch of grease coming back at you. One of the cool things about these old style butter knives is how wide they were. You could effectively use this as a spatula by itself. But what's the fun using a spatula? Once you get your lard, your butter, or whatever you're going to use, oil, good and hot, go ahead. Drop your batter in. See how it slides around pretty evenly? That's what you want. Now, aluminum, if you've never heard me say, aluminum actually draws heat about twice as much, as fast or whatever, as steel or other metals. So that's why a lot of people don't like using aluminum, is because, you know, people burn stuff on it all the time. Now, a good way to know whether or not your pancake's done or your flapjack's done is you're looking for bubbles. Trying to see that most of them explode. All right, so here's the time, moment of truth. Okay, see how it's all the way around the bottom? There we go! Not burnt at all. In fact, because that is a tremendous amount of heat, I'm going to go ahead and turn it down. Look at that. Look at that. Now, if you're thinking that these are pretty small flapjacks, they are. I mean, they're not like plate size, but like I said, they're pretty hardy. Now, you can doctor these up with a little bit of sugar. You don't want a whole lot. Otherwise, the sugars will caramelize, they'll burn and things like that. And a little bit of vanilla goes a long way if you've got vanilla. Or you could throw in some cinnamon or something like that as a flavoring. But these are rather hardy. Last night, like I said, made these for dinner so my son and I could practice. He's never flipped a flapjack before himself. So figure we had a little bit of father-son bonding time. We dropped a couple and it was a good time. Now, if you are teaching a young person on how to flip flapjacks, you take one that's already cooked. You don't want them to be flipping flapjacks that have one side that's wet. So give them one that's already done. Have them flip it, 15, 20 times, however long it takes, until they get just used to it. Give them a little bit of practice. And afterwards, it's not that bad. I was a little nervous about doing this in front of you, in front of the video, because, my man card or my camping card's on the line. There we go. Whoops. Nice and brown, not gooey at all. There you go. That's how you cook yourself and flip a flapjack. Even on something small like this, it does a great job. So once you're done with your flapjack, of course you got to put a little bit of butter on it. Like I said, I could have brought down syrup, but I don't have a proper container for syrup. Could have put it in a little glass jar, I guess. I'm not able to make it Nathaniel Logsden's sugar camp this year. I have to head down to Florida and take care of some business instead. But here we go. We got some good slathered on butter. And we got to have a little bit of sugar. All right, Didn't realize it at the time. I wasn't paying close enough attention, but that was a coffee pot. So now we have our sugar from our officer's mess chest. Put just a little bit of sugar on there. Yeah, boy. Let's dig in. See, there we go. Look, take a look at this. Like, this is, look at that. That's pretty good, man. Nice and golden. Not gooey at all. Heck yeah, man. That's a good flapjack. And very basic ingredients that you probably take anyways when you go traditional camping to make your biscuits or spreads or something else. Doesn't take that long, and it's a nice hearty breakfast. I'm telling you, this is a lot heavier than the airy pancakes that you get from Krusty's or somewhere else, log cabin, what have you. These will stick with you. From a recipe from 1921. Now you can see, it's not going to take too much to clean this up. Using butter. I use lard. I like the taste of butter on my pancakes, frying it instead of lard. I did that last night. Lard's okay, but I think butter's a lot better. Oil, like, I don't know, oil's oil, doesn't impart a whole lot of flavor, but butter, there's just something about that cream from the cow that just adds to it. So as you can see, we still have enough batter to make probably 2, maybe 3 more pancakes. So that recipe that I just shared with you, 2/3 cup of flour, 2/3 cup of flour, 1 and maybe 2/3 teaspoon of baking powder, just a pinch of salt to your taste, add a little bit of sugar, add a little bit of cinnamon, or add a little bit of vanilla if you really want to kick it up a notch. And that's all you do. Make it wet, put it in, and you're good to go. And don't forget to practice flipping your flapjacks. All right, now Camp Crafters Guild members, I know you watched this because I shared it on the Guild, and that is this month's challenge. I can't wait to see your guys' videos of flipping some flapjacks, and I know I told you there's some extra aura points if you did it outside. It is windy, it is wet, it is cold here where I am in Ohio, and you gotta do what you gotta do when you can do it. So this is as good as I got. So anyhow, if you are interested in joining the Camp Crafters Guild and being with a group of awesome people who love camp crafting, traditional camp crafting skills, newer camp crafting skills, hiking, backpacking, bush crafting, wood crafting, whatever you want to call it, then join the Camp Crafters Guild. You can check it out at www.honorableoutfitters.com/join the Guild. We look forward to seeing you around our campfire. And nothing else, try it out for a couple days. If you don't like it, cancel it, and no harm, no foul. But I would like to see you on there. Don't forget, down in the description box, to sign up, because some people are getting pretty anxious. They want to see this made, and I know you'll love it too. All the awesome benefits of having an all-in-one, incredible cook kit, the Preston Mess Kit. Check it out at www.honorableoutfitters.com if you want to check out the article for it as well. Oh, and one last plug. If you would like the Camp Crafters Cookbook, in the description box below, you just send me through PayPal, $25. I send you a digital copy of it, and yeah, that way you have it on your phone. Even if you're traditional camp crafting, you don't have to worry about it getting wet or something. Everybody always has their phone. So you can just download the PDF, and it's there wherever you go. And you have yourself your Camp Crafters Cookbook. So that's down below. Now, if you'd like to see the video about the Preston Mess Kit and talk about the history and things up close, some details, then check it out here. If you'd like to see my video on mess kits and cooking in general, because there's a lot of mess kits I show on this channel, then check it out here. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Give a kiss out to your loved ones, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.